If clean power, goosebump detail, and oh-so-sweet dynamics are your thing, then stick around because these amps surprised me big time. Today, I'm ranking 6 pro-class amps I've been living with, from budget brawlers to the slick, living room-ready heavy hitters, and I'll count them down from 6 to 1 so it's easy to follow along. I'll keep an open loop here. The top 2 changed my mind about what's possible at their price and size, but there were also a couple of, moments with the early picks that you should hear about before buying. Let's dive in. 6. Fosi Audio BT30D Pro. I wanted to love the BT30D Pro more than I did, because on paper it's a tiny rocket. Texas Instruments TPA3255 under the hood, swappable op amps, Bluetooth 5.0, RCA input, and even a 3.5mm pre-out to feed a powered sub. Ridiculous flexibility for the footprint and price. In use, the chassis and controls feel better than you'd expect at this level, with click-detent tone knobs that snap back to flat easily, handy when testing speakers back-to-back. Power with the higher voltage PSU is genuinely robust for compact bookshelves. It barely gets warm and sips power at idle, which is great if it will live in a small office or bedroom setup. Sonically, it's shockingly clean for a sub-$100 amp. Bass stays taut without getting woolly. Mid's red neutral, and treble has bite without sandpaper grit, especially if the tone controls are left at the center notch. Pushing Daft Punk or similarly dense mixes, it keeps composure and doesn't collapse into hash at, probably too loud volumes for most apartments. Now the well parts. The Bluetooth path isn't secured and can override RCA until you unpair, which is awkward if multiple devices live around it, especially in a living room where somebody's phone can hijack your session. Also, while the pre-out lets a sub join the party, there's no high pass for mains, so small speakers can still struggle if pushed hard with big bass, and you may find yourself babysitting the tone knobs to keep things balanced. Number 5. Moukey MK0101 US. The Moukey is that Swiss Army party first, hi-fi second box. Dual mic karaoke inputs, Bluetooth 5.0, FM tuner with one-click scanning, USB SD playback, and lots of front panel control. Very feature-rich if versatility matters more than audiophile purity. In a casual family room or shop, it wins points for simplicity. It pairs quickly, remembers stations, and the remote gets a surprising amount done without standing up, which, let's be honest, is half the reason people love these all-in-ones. Peak power claims hover around 220 watts, and in practice, it will get a pair of efficient bookshelf speakers, plenty loud for background music and karaoke nights. In my listening, Bluetooth streams sounded fine for casual use, FM reception was straightforward to set up, and the mic mixing with a touch of echo is actually fun at a party, don't judge me. The big knobs and LED feedback make it feel approachable, and if the goal is to be the hub for TV, phone, and impromptu sing-alongs, the Moukey hits that brief cleanly. But here's where the critical hat comes on. The signal path is not the last word in quiet backgrounds. At higher gains with sensitive speakers, there's more hiss than you'd get from a purist amp, and the EQ is more broad strokes than precise tuning. Power ratings are peak marketing numbers, not conservative RMS, so set expectations accordingly. In a larger room or with low sensitivity speakers, it can run out of steam sooner than the badge implies. Number 4. Fosi BT30D PRO. Move up to the BT30D Pro and you're getting a purpose-built 2. One engine that punches far above its size. Think 165 watt by 2 for speakers, plus up to 350 watts for a sub-channel on paper, with the same TPA3255 heart as Fosi's better performers. The trick here is control. Separate knobs for speaker volume, bass, treble, sub-volume, and crucially, a sub-crossover frequency knob, which makes dialing a 2.1 system smooth and frankly addictive if you like to tweak by ear. Measurements show a flat response through the band and low distortion for the class, which mirrors what I heard, clean, confident, and weighty when asked. In practice, it made my modest bookshelves feel bigger once the sub-crossover was right. Kick drums and bass guitar had satisfying punch without smearing the mids, and treble stayed tidy even with a touch of sparkle added. With efficient speakers, it reaches party levels without turning harsh, and it keeps cool under pressure. no small feat in a palm-sized chassis. Bluetooth plus RCA input coverage will fit most living rooms or desks, and the 2.1 knob matrix is honestly the star. It's intuitive and powerful. If there's a nit, it's that the layout invites fiddling, great for enthusiasts, but some will prefer a set-and-forget style with app-based filters instead of front-panel gymnastics. There's also no remote, so all adjustments happen on the unit. 3. WiiM. This is where the smart side pulls even with sonic chops. The WiiM amp wraps a proper 60-watt Audiophile Class D stage with an ESS Sabre ES9018 DAC, HDMI ARC for TV, sub-out with app-configurable crossover, and an excellent control app with multi-room streaming, AirPlay 2, Chromecast, Spotify, Tidal Connect, the works. Setup is painless, the hardware feels premium, and the remote isn't an afterthought, which is rare at this price. Everyday experience, switching from TV to streaming, tweaking EQ, including parametric, and dialing the sub-crossover in-app is seamless and kind of addictive for a feature geek. Sound is clean and composed with a lean but detailed signature. It doesn't sugarcoat, and it pairs beautifully with neutral to warm speakers like KEF LS50 Meta in small to medium rooms, delivering resolution and control that belie the price. With the sub engaged and the app crossover set right, it gets very close to rivals that cost much more, which is wild to say out loud at this tier. Build runs cool, stability is solid, and the value per feature is almost unfair right now. Critically, if the room is large or the speakers are insensitive, the 60-watt at 8-ohm ceiling may feel modest. It's not a muscle amp and won't bully power-hungry towers the way a big separate will. Also, inputs are intentionally minimalist. You get line-in, optical HDMI ARC depending on region, and sub-out. If there's a vintage stack to connect, you may feel constrained. 2. Fosi K5 Pro. Curveball time. The K5 Pro is a desktop DAC amp, not a speaker power amp, but for anyone who lives on headphones or needs a tidy USB optical coax hub feeding powered speakers or a separate amp, it's a shockingly capable anchor, with tone controls and mic put that fit gaming, music, and content creation. Power is ample for common headsets and mid-impedance cans, up to 1000 milliwatt at 16 ohms, 500 milliwatt 32 ohms, and specs are reassuringly clean with SHD 110 dB. In hand, it's solid, the volume pot feels precise, and the bass treble knobs are subtle tools for late-night tuning without opening software EQ. Across a week of desktop rotation, it read clear and slightly warm, with good sub-bass extension when nudged and a midband that kept vocals forward without glare. Pushing the bass knob too far can introduce distortion with sensitive IEMs, so moderation helps. As a USB DAC into powered speakers, it lifts clarity and dynamics over many motherboard or console outputs, and the mic input is a quiet convenience for voice chat or quick recordings without a separate interface. The blend of inputs, USB-C, optical coax, and outputs, 3.5mm RCA, made it a Swiss Army hub on the desk, and switching sources was painless day to day. If there's a caveat, it's that it tops out around 300 ohms loads, not a problem for most, but true high-impedance beasts may want a burlier desktop amp. Also, its EQ is analog and broad, not a surgical DSP, so it's for tasteful seasoning rather than tone surgery. Number 1. Sonos AMG01 US BLK, Sonos amp. At the top, the Sonos amp wins not just on raw spec, 125 watt per channel into 8 ohm with ample current for 4 ohms loads, but on the way it disappears into daily life while still sounding muscular and composed. Power delivery is the quiet headline. It drives real speakers with confidence, stays cool, and feels effortless at living room levels. Independent measurements have even shown excellent output into 4 ohms, which you hear as grip and control on tough passages. The sound is clean, punchy, and dynamically alive, never brash, and it keeps its poise when the movie explodes or the orchestra swells. Then there's the ecosystem. Seamless multi-room streaming, HDMI ARC for TV integration, sub-out, analog in for a turntable with phonostage, rock-solid app control, and that 2-port Ethernet switch for rock-solid networking if Wi-Fi is congested. It's genuinely the hub that respects both convenience and fidelity. Switching from TV to vinyl to Spotify is frictionless, and latency handoff is where Sonos has historically excelled. In a living room, this matters more than most spec sheets admit. Are there gotchas? If using the line-in as a serious hi-fi input, some measurements have criticized noise shaping and filtering choices. For most living room use, it's a non-issue, but purists feeding high-end external DACs might notice. Also, it's priced like a premium solution and doesn't chase checkbox features beyond the Sonos universe. That's kind of the point, but worth noting if you need exotic inputs. Closing thought. From the scrappy brilliance of the Fosi Minis to the smart, polished ease of the WiiM and the muscular, invisible helper vibe of the Sonos amp, each of these amps earns its spot for different listeners. If budget and desk space are tight, the BT30D Pro and K5 Pro are easy wins. If a 2.1 micro rig is the dream, the BT30D Pro makes small speakers feel big. If streaming brains with real sonic credibility are the brief, the WiiM nails the balance. And if just make the whole house sound good without drama is the mission, well, the Sonos amp is the quiet champion at the top.